Well, Mr. Emmanuel Umoren joins us now. He's a legal practitioner, continuing our focus on the plea bargain matter. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much, and good morning.
Well, it's interesting, different councils, different positions about this matter, as expected, this kind of matters. But what do you think, to be or not?
I think, like when your first guest, when he came out, I asked him, I said, when did you change this position with this? Is it after he became EFCC counsel or before?
Did he have a position before?
Oh, yes, he had a position before. You see, the fact is this. I don't know, let me start with the section 180 that Professor Odikalu read. It says, Section 180 sub 1, the Criminal Procedure Act provides that when more charges are made, more charges are made against a person, and a conviction has been had on one or more of them, the prosecutor may, with the consent of the court, withdraw the remaining charge or charges, or the court of its own motion may stay trial of such charge or charges. It's after a conviction has been had. A trial process would have been gone through. Is that plea bargain as we know it? Did Ibori go through a trial process? All the plea bargains we've had, you see, if we are laws, it's just like the Same-Sex Marriage Act. All over the world, people have said they should have same-sex marriage, but our own country says we should not have same-sex marriage. That's our law in Nigeria. The CJN is absolutely right. This is not a reason for plea bargain. And this is not plea bargain. This is, if a lot of, like EFCC, this is a new way of raising 150 charges or 200 charges, that by the time you are done reading it, the judge may be asleep, or the accused person may have passed on. If you have those many charges, and a conviction has been obtained, probably if it's a matter of corruption, stealing of government money, and a conviction has been obtained for stealing of the money, and then maybe there's an additional charge of conspiracy to steal, the court may say, look, we've gotten a conviction for this, don't bother about the conspiracy, we're wasting time of the court. You understand? But not before trial. You must go through the rigors of trial, at least for one of those charges, and most charges are taken together.
Yeah, but what is intention if you have to go through some rigor of trial? Isn't it to save taxpayers' money, and at the same time, in the interest of the public, get back the loot if you can, while still being convicted?
No, you see, get back the loot. In our country, you see, let's go back. I also discussed this thing some years back with you people here on the EFCC Act itself, the way the compoundment part of EFCC Act that talks of it compounding, where there is, you see, and that one too is also fraudulent. It is not in compliance with the Act. It says this: to compound any offence punishable under the Act by accepting such sum of money as he thinks fit, not exceeding the maximum amount to which that person would have been liable if he had been convicted of that offense. That is conviction. If they say you stole, and you'll be given 10 years and maybe 20,000 naira. If you don't pay 20,000 naira, you go to jail for 10 years. You cannot take beyond that. That's what the law says.
No, but so you were talking about a conviction being secured. From what you read, Section 180, subsection 1.
Yes.
A conviction being secured. The conviction can be secured in many ways. What then will be the plea bargaining? Is it in the part of the sentencing?
No. What we say, you see, the principle of plea bargaining. Let us take this in from the lawyer's perspective. The principle of plea bargaining is that you don't go through trial, the rigors of trial. You accept that you have been. You accept these charges, and then you don't go through the rigors of trial. The state does not.
But in that case, a conviction has been secured.
No, if you don't go through, you see, if you come to court and accept, I'm guilty. Sorry, I'm guilty. You say I'm guilty on this. Yes, that's a different thing. then the court can also don't bother going through this other through these other charges. But not when you have not accepted guilt. Do you understand? It's like the one of the former governor of Edo State, Lucky Benedict.
Yeah.
He was convicted and asked to pay 3 million when he was charged for stealing over 15 billion. What is the relationship? Look at the one of they said that's plea bargaining too of Cecilia Ibru. What have you done? Compare it to what the British government is going to do to Ebori. They're going to take all the assets he has bought, he has bought in England. Every money he has in England that he transferred, laundered into England. They're going to seize everything and return to the poor people of Delta State, which may not get to them anyway.
But what if we decide and perhaps take a look at that plea bargain and see if we can apply the same rules elsewhere? If you all agree on that, say, well, yes, you have to forfeit everything. If that's what they agree in the bargain, what would be the bargain then?
No. First of all, let us lay foundation. Let us have an act that allows for plea bargaining first.
An act?
Yes, of the National Assembly.
So you're not exactly against the act?
I'm not against plea bargaining, no.
You're not against it?
No. But when you are doing something that's unlawful, that's what the CJN is saying. That there is no law that provides for this.
So assuming we had been stern, assuming we had been stern with the way we administered, because it seems the growls of almost everybody is how it's been applied here. Assuming we had stiffer penalties with how we applied it, for instance, people who pleaded guilty, all of their property were taken, or most of their monies, if not all the monies that were purportedly stolen, were returned.
They will go on appeal. They will allow that. You see, the problem we have is that is the state which has done this dirty bargain that will now enforce it on, put it on us, force it through our throats. If you take all the assets of these people, they will go on appeal. They will tell you that plea bargain is not lawful. Because there's no foundation for it. There's no law.
Okay.
That's what the CJN is saying.
So if
you cannot make rules for what is non-existent. It's a simple principle of law. Okay. You cannot place anything on nothing. That's what we're saying.
Now, let me try and read out one of the CJN's quote. He said it's dubious. He said plea bargain is dubious and illegal. So if now there's a law, an act that backs or sort of like supports the plea bargain, does that stop it from being dubious?
No, it doesn't anymore. What it is, it's illegal and dubious. That it was brought in from the back door. Once an act, if the act makes the parliament says Maupe is a man, she's a man immediately.
Would that now make the plea bargain system more effective? Would curbing corruption?
Yes, you see that ways now. If the parliament has debated it, they will, like my learned friend, the last speaker was saying, they will ask for expert opinion. We will go and tell them, look, we have to have rules. This is how we do it. But you do not wake up one morning and look at your act and say, okay, let's do it this way.
But he says the reason behind it is not what he's criticizing. The reason behind, if I look at a direct quote from him, when I described the concept as of dubious origin, I was not referring to the original raison d'etre of the judicial motive.
Yes, of the principle
behind its conception.
Good.
But the way it was brought in through the AFCC.
Let me explain what the CJN is saying. The concept is a jurisprudential concept,
which is not bad.
Which is not bad at all. That's what we're saying. But you see, there must be a law to allow it stand. If there is no law, it's unlawful. You understand? So what they need to do, the people that are asking for plea bargain, they should go to the National Assembly and get the National Assembly to pass a law allowing for plea bargain, and then let the president sign it.
I think it is important that Nigerians get the difference so that everyone is educated, because it seems that what we're saying, I mean, now in Nigeria, if you talk about plea bargaining, what readily comes to the mind of anybody is commit a big offense
and go and take small. You see, they've destroyed the concept.
Small, and then you get away with it.
I agree with you.
Which is not what it is.
Which is not what it is.
They've destroyed it.
In itself, it's very important that people get, from all the three learned fellows who've sat down here, what has come through is that in itself is not a bad concept.
Definitely not.
But that how it's been practiced and the fact that there is no legal basis for it. Are we agreed on that? Is that what you're saying as well?
Yes, and you see, let us get something right. The act that we are talking about, the Criminal Procedure Act, that power is embedded in the court. It's not with the prosecutor. It's not with the state. It's with the court. It's the court that will give consent. It's the court that can so moto. If the prosecutor wants it, he has to seek the consent of the court. It's the court. It's the judiciary.
But where does it originate?
No, you come with your prosecution. The state starts with its prosecution, but it is the court that determines it. It's a judicial decision that can be appealed. But if it is a plea bargain outside, it can be appealed because it goes out of, it comes out, it's determined outside the jurisdiction of the court. You now come with consent that we have agreed to this, then the court makes it its decision, and that's a